Gundam.tk presents Gundam X. Hey, what's up again everybody? Robert184 from Gundam.tk, and I'm back today with part 3 of my review of the high-grade Gundam X from the brand new high-grade After War series. Don't forget to check out part 1 and part 2 for the box, details, instructions, etc. But now it's time to take a look at the parts. For the Gundam itself, the parts that you're going to get is the legs, ankles, and feet all go together as one part. Anybody who's built the high-grade 00 will recognize this part here for the hips. The waist armor is one solid piece. You're going to get 2 parts for the chest here. The shoulders are built into the arms, and you're going to get the head, of course. In terms of weapons, you're going to get the Shield Buster Rifle, which comes in both rifle mode and in shield mode. You're also going to get here the Shoulder Vulcan, which attaches on to the most important weapon, the satellite cannon itself, and you're also going to get a large size beam sword, which actually looks pretty cool. Now, I never paint my kits, but I do always use a gray and a black lining marker, and I also use real touch markers on occasion instead of these ones, especially the red, to get rid of the white discoloration on the red parts when I cut them off. So anyway, spend $2 on these markers and you will get a much better final product when you're done everything. Taking a look at the parts from the bottom to the top, with the foot actually you've got some nice light blue, you can call it here, a white piece on the top with just some lining there. But I'm impressed with the ankles because you've got a polycap inside there, but the ankle itself has 2 points of mobility, and when you plug it into the actual leg here, you're actually able to move this around quite a bit, and the ankle piece moves around very independently, which was also something that we saw in the high-grade 1/100th. For the rest of the leg itself, it's set off a little bit by this purple, but it really doesn't stand out all that much. But it does have very good lines here, good channels, so you'll have no problems lining it there. You got to be a little careful going around the edges, but you can choose here to either go with the understated and not line it too much, but I pretty much went with all the channels that they gave me. Mobility, on the other hand, for the upper part is just 90 degrees, and it moves a little bit here at the top, so don't expect master grade type mobility in the legs. The waist itself is pretty simple but still well put together, just a big fat piece on the back, put some lines around that. You've got separate purple parts, these are not stickers, which is great to see. Good channels for the lining here, and my lining is a little bit thick there. And then you'll notice that's where you're going to plug in the legs with their separate hip action. According to the manual, the first thing you're supposed to build is the chest, and as soon as I did that, I was impressed with this high-grade kit, because it really is approaching master grade level. So first of all, you're able to plug this part into the bottom here when you attach the chest, so you're going to have 2 points of mobility there, which is great. But the most important thing for me was just the colors. And you've got the use of the light blue, the red, the yellow, these are black stickers that go in here. You've got a shiny silver hologram under here with a clear green part and a bright white part, which really just shows off how far they've come from the old high-grade 1/100th. Just for comparison, here is the high-grade 1/100th, and you can see that this bright white part is actually just a sticker. But with this new high-grade one, they actually took the time to put these blue indents here. You don't have to line anything, and it's a bright white part, which really shows off. The arms are solid if a little bit unspectacular for mobility. The first thing that you'll notice is that when you put the shoulders in is that this is offset to the back, which is actually going to look pretty cool when it's on the Gundam, because you are able to pop out these shoulders just a little bit because they're on a swinging polycap here. But what did impress me was that in the shoulders you've got a big purple part that goes through here, and then you just put a white part on either side, but these gray parts that go in here just sort of seal off the whole thing. But again, the purple gets a little bit lost, I find. And you can choose to put some lining in there, but I didn't go with that. The shoulder, you can spin it around here. As far as the elbow, you're going to get a 90 degrees and not too much more, well, maybe a little. Put some black lining around here. You can put some more on the wrists, the purple down here, and the baby blue for the wrists, which actually looks pretty good in very standard high-grade hands. And you're only going to get the 2 fists, no variations. The head I found to be absolutely awesome putting together, and the construction is actually pretty unique, I found. If you look inside, you'll see a huge red piece there, and that's because this top jewel and this part and everything inside is just one red piece, on which you just put on the front plate for the mouth, and then this one giant white helmet. So no seams, no problems there, everything fits together really well. My only small complaint when you're putting together the helmet is that you're going to have to do a lot of lining for it to look good. So if you have a black Gundam marker, just pop it in there, do some lining, good channels on the front guard, and if you want to go around here, I found that it was a little bit thick, so I've had to clean that up with a toothpick, and I did not do a very good job lining the back, but hey, who's going to be looking at the back of my Gundam anyway? For weapons, of course, the satellite cannon is the most famous one, but here, this sword buster rifle is actually pretty cool because for a high-grade kit, it has transforming ability, which is sort of cool. So you can put the sight down, I think I'm missing a seal in there, and you can extend the barrel and put it inside as well. In contrast, here it is in shield mode, and you can see underneath that it just exposes the whole rifle here. And something I should note is that these black parts are all stickers, and you've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 on each of these, so 8 black stickers. So far, no problems with them falling off, and because I'm not going to use them all that much, I don't really mind that they cheaped out and went with these because I'm going to be focusing on the satellite cannon anyway. But the fact that they give you both of them is a big plus for me. I would prefer not to have a transforming one. After building the chest, this was the second part in the directions, and I was so impressed with this. It's basically just a front and back part, and then you put in 4 polycaps in between, but even each of these, there are these small parts here, and there's 4 of them that you attach on, and it's that kind of detail in a high grade that I really did not expect. And when you're putting this together, make sure that you put the polycaps in the right place. Here is the shoulder Vulcan, which is pretty cool basically for its size, and it can spin around on the mount up here, but you can also spin this part here, and it's 2 white parts put together, 2 gray parts, and then you just pop this cap on the end. I could have done some more lining here on the white part, but I decided to go for a little bit of the understated effect, but I did put some black marker in here and just smudged it around with a Q-tip, which I think the effect actually comes across pretty well. But to save the best for last, of course, it's the satellite cannon for the Gundam X that's really going to make or break this model. And so far I'm impressed with it. It has a part here that you're going to attach onto the backpack, and that pivots around, though not too freely. It can sometimes bump into these parts up here. However, on the back, you've actually got the cannon itself is able to spin around almost completely freely, but it might bump in again here, just depending on the way that you've got these panels adjusted. As far as the panels themselves, they are on, you have 1, 2, and then you just put a cap on the end to keep them both in place. And you're going to have a tiny gap here, but I don't mind that because sometimes you can see a hint of the hologram inside, which actually looks pretty cool. No real problems getting them apart, and once you do that, you're going to get the very cool hologram effect. One thing I found a little surprising though is that you don't actually spin these around like you do on the 1/100th high grade, but you actually pop them in and off depending whether you want this in satellite mode or in hovering mode. Hopefully this comes across a little bit better on my new camera, but here I've just put on the stickers and it's sort of got these dots and everything looks cool. But if you're actually looking at this, this has texture. So you've actually got all of these tiny little bumps that are sticking out here, as you can hear the old nails on the blackboard there. And so if you were a good painter, you could really get a pretty cool effect because they took the time to use all of these, although most of us are probably just going to cover them up with the sticker because, well, I'm lazy anyway. So there you have it. So far, based on just the parts, I'm really impressed with this, but of course, doesn't really matter unless they all work well when they go together. So anyway, everybody stay tuned for part 4 to see this all put together, and as always, Robert184 from gundam.tk. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, poke around the website, and we'll see you back here soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.